presentation by Field Service Engineer Rashad Bernard at the annual technical conference hosted by the Association of Petroleum Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago examined the feasibility of developing a green regional hydrogen cluster in the Caribbean.
We cannot ignore the benefits of grey hydrogen in our current in Caribbean industries. For example, as I mentioned, in methanol production and ammonia production. And different parts of the region in certain refineries, grey hydrogen plays a major role.
Grey hydrogen is created from natural gas or methane. Producing it creates greenhouse gases, which are released into the atmosphere.
Blue hydrogen is expected to play a major role in our decarbonization efforts, as there is potential to retrofit the existing grey hydrogen plants with carbon capture storage technology. Right? So in our transitional period, we can retrofit those existing grey hydrogen plants to reduce those emissions while we push other green avenues.
Blue hydrogen is a common term for decarbonized hydrogen. This hydrogen is manufactured using natural gas. The greenhouse gases produced are captured and stored.
The storage in geological sites, so probably in depleted oil and natural gas wells, right? So you did mention some work being done to assess the efficacy of those methods, right? So those are things we need to consider if we plan to take the approach of blue hydrogen.
Mr. Bernard was referring to a presentation given by Professor Clement Ember, professor in the field of engineering at the University of the West Indies.
We do require investment in additional desalination plants because the current installed capacities regionally will not be able to supply the domestic needs and a major green hydrogen plant. So we will require some infrastructural development there.
The field service engineer elaborated on the region's needs in this area.
We also need to consider the location of our renewable energy farms. Right? Whether it's solar or farm, we need to consider the meteorological data in terms of how they fluctuate throughout different times of the year in the region. So maybe a mix of solar and wind could be a way to work around that.
Meteorological data refers to information that tracks and predicts weather conditions and patterns.
We also need to look at the potential for scalability in where we place these farms, as well as their proximity to the electrical grid, right? How close or how far they are away from that. So that's some of the things we need to consider when moving to green hydrogen.
A continuing issue raised by energy experts has been whether small regional territories can afford to embark on solar or wind projects.
We have started invested in a lot of hydrogen projects, and these solutions are not only to Trinidad, but to other parts of the region. Yes, hydrogen is a viable option because obviously it reduces the carbon emissions, but there are issues that we need to surmount, such as the high production cost, energy intensivity of the process, and the economic feasibility.
Green hydrogen could be feasibly economical in a location which has an optimal combination of abundant renewable resources, space for solar or wind farms, and access to water, along with the capability to export to large demand centers. New power nodes could arise in places that exploit these factors to become centers of hydrogen production and use. I am Terry Ann Brown Campbell, and this is Evolving